Oh, hi there. It was a bad time with Alex. I'll read you guys a story. The bath water was running. The wine was poured and the candles were lit. Greg sat in the bath trying to decompress. He had hoped the Epsom salts would do their job. The bubbles were up to his chest. After a few minutes more, Greg kicked in the faucet, the bubbles now up to his neck. He closed his eyes and felt the warmth all around his body. It was as if he were being hugged by an angel, possibly all of the angels. Not too many thoughts came to his mind. He just sat there, existing. Sweat started to form in his hair, even though it hadn't submerged under water. It still felt wet. Over time, the sweat would run down his forehead and into his eyes. Some of the droplets went down his nose and into his mouth. This was a taste Greg was quite familiar with. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. "Greg," she said, "you mind if I use the washroom?" "No," he replied. "It's unlocked." She entered the washroom and undid her belt, her pants lowered to the ground, and she sat on the toilet, relieving herself. Meanwhile, Greg sat in the bath with his eyes still closed. "How was your day?" she asked. "It was fine," he replied. "And yours?" "It was okay, I suppose. Typical office drama, nothing new, unfortunately." "Oh," said Greg. "Let me guess, Jenna had something to do with it." Cheryl laughed.
Oh my god.
"She did, doesn't she always?" replied Cheryl. Greg lowered himself deeper into the bath. The water rose and splashed down onto Cheryl's soft feet. "Hey, watch it, won't you?" she said. "Oh, sorry," replied Greg, his eyes still closed. Cheryl wiped herself and flushed the toilet. While standing with her pants back on, she looked down at Greg. He was a sweaty mess. She sat down on the toilet seat and brushed Greg's hair with her fingers. He paid no attention, and he kept his eyes closed. Cheryl reached over and grabbed his glass of wine, taking a sip. "She's just such a bitch," she said. "Who?" asked Greg. "Jenna. She thinks she's so hot with her business lady slut wardrobe. Like, we get it. Your tits are amazing, but you're at work. It's really no place to be showing off your body. Yet she always gets the promotion. She always gets invited out of the office for lunches and dinners. It's ridiculous. Am I just hideous? I'm even younger than her, and yet no one looks at me." "Cheryl," says Greg, "you're not hideous. You are beautiful. You are sexy. I mean, come on. Look at those tits. Any guy would be lucky to play with those. They're great. It's not always just about sex appeal. She does have more experience, and she is really funny." "Are you kidding me?" Cheryl asked, as she spit wine out into the tub. "You think Jenna is funny?" Greg opens his eyes and looks over at Cheryl. "I mean, she's witty. She's really not that funny. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to have spoken my opinion." Cheryl shakes her head and finishes the glass of wine. "Would you mind getting some more?" asked Greg. "I'll be right back," she says. While Cheryl is gone, Greg takes this time to grab the bar of soap. He dunks it into the bath water and lathers up his armpits, then slides it down the crack of his ass a few times. She returns with the bottle and one glass. Greg soaps up his chest and works his way down under the bubbles. She sits back down on the toilet and places the bottle on the ground. "Here," she says, "a refill as per your request." "Thank you, I really needed this," says Greg, as he downs the glass. Cheryl refills the glass yet again. She hands it to Greg and begins to rub his red back. "You feel tense," says Cheryl. "Maybe I am," replies Greg. He closes his eyes and leans forward. Cheryl continues to rub his back. "Say, Greg, do you think that Jenna is sexier than I am?" Greg stays in his forward sitting position. "Are you kidding me? No way. You're a 10 out of 10, a total fox." "And what would you rate Jenna?" she asked. "Jenna? Like a 3 out of 10. Not even a comparison." "Don't kid around, Greg. I know she's pretty," says Cheryl. Greg sits up and looks Cheryl in the eyes. "Honestly, you're a 10. You've got the body, you've got the face, and you've got the personality. Jenna, Sure, she's a 7 or an 8, but I swear to you, you are a 10. Cheryl downs half the glass of wine and passes it to Greg. He finishes it and stands up full of bubbles. As she rids of the bubbles on his backside, he rids them of his front. Cheryl passes Greg his towel and sits back down. Greg, she says, do you miss them? Of course I do. How couldn't I? They're our parents. I just hope that when we die, we end up with them. I don't care what everyone says. They loved each other. How can you fight love? People down here just don't get it, Cheryl. It's okay. We come from a place where love of all kinds is accepted. It's not the same here, or anywhere. We, like Ma and Pa, are a dying breed. Thank you for joining me. It's been a bad time with Alex. I'll see you later.